My governed body remains concreted in this island-like position between Damascus and Park. Today my appearance is untouched, my body unfazed, the city blatantly denying me of my traumatic past. The historical artifacts that define the makings of my insides are curated through the superior system of control. Their clinically preserved experiential landscapes remain the same, day after day, year after year. The humans that inhabit my white masonry walls leisurely stroll on top of my limestone floors, almost brainwashed to overlook my dark past. I can't do this any longer. This banal routine is soul-crushing, my mind begging my body to be transformed, shifted, even diminished. The only way to project to the city how I'm feeling is to destroy the very makings of me, day after day, year after year. I am a heritage proposition that is manifesting my demise. A collection of marble, limestone, concrete, glass, and human body are reorganized into individual landscapes which idealize materiality and temporality as vehicles for natural destruction. The mummies, once preserved in a controlled glass box, are positioned into extruded glass cages. Their fragile deceased bodies lay atop of wooden slat cases which inhabit families of invasive vulture bees. I plant modest native trees below, which over time will rise and become a home for the bees to harvest honey. The bees rely on the flesh of dead bodies to survive and reproduce. I instruct the bees to gradually start feeding off the mummies, my eyes watching on from afar, my mind satisfied with how my body responds. I don't stop there though, I want more. The vulture bees have reproduced to the masses and are dominant within their glass structures. Feeding off the mummies in a frenzy, they enter the carcass through its eyes, salivating on the rotting flesh and burying it into their stomachs. The tree, now overgrown its cage, has fractured the glass, which is sweating from the dense humidity. The mummy's deceased body, unable to defend against humidity and the bees, will vanish, as if it never existed. The tomb of the Tyre, once displayed in an uninhabitable room, is now subverted to the external elements. I slice my thick masonry facade walls and cut cavities to position the artifact. I dismantle their frescoes by splaying them onto the external walls, intending to watch as their slow decay occurs. The Arium sarcophagus, which celebrates the king of Byblos, was once elevated on a podium structure. Today I have fragmented the limestone artifact and displaced it around my body in excavated lacerations in my floor. The gashes are filled with concrete rubble that encase the artifacts in the wall, the fragment of the sarcophagus laid on top. I admiringly gaze over my work or destruction as society views it. My body, once this preserved clinical structure that projected my colonial historical past, now recognized as a place of decay. In the wake of this place, though, my mind feeling nonchalant as the decline prepares to individualize itself. The cavities in my walls are crumbling under the parasitical pressure of the vines as they climb, creep, and sprawl up my endemic ochre limestone to invade my body. The once continuous bodies of the tombs, now untouchable from their ragged edges, and the frescoes now weathered away, blowing in the wind, transcending beyond more than my decaying body. Fragments of my wall lay stagnant among the rubble, my mind harshly triggering to a flashback from the war. Memories of people running, screaming in anguish, the staccato of machine guns firing tick over my mind. It only makes me want my destruction more. The lacerations in the ground gradually expanding, the Arium sarcophagus getting lost under the rubble. The perpetual tension between the concrete and the limestone is causing the limestone to break down into microscopic particles. I construct a grid structure of metal rods and hang them from my ceiling. The anthropoid sarcophages are suspended on metal racks that hang above and below the subtracted voids. Access is by choice only. The tumultuous climate has caused acid rain to pellet down over the last 20 years. Racks overrun by rust are cracking and the sarcophages' bodies are crumbling. Their skin, once white and marble, now swamped with black gypsum crust. The basement now flooded, half of the sarcophages unseen, trapped underwater. The artifact dangerously close to extinction from urban society, I indulge on their demise, surveilling as nature takes their place. The grid structure of metal rods that once hung from the ceiling now displaced collection of fragments. The metal rods snapping from the rust, now hanging above as daggers, threatening to fall at any moment. The sarcophagus that hung above fell, hitting the flooded basement, their bodies sliced into a multitude of pieces in the process of the fall. The native plants float atop the water, almost disguising the carnage underneath. My body almost unrecognizable among the destructions, humans tend not to visit me anymore. My mind satisfied that my body is a deterrent for their invasive explorations. My mind and soul are ingrained within Beirut, however my body I felt could have existed naturally within any city. All that's left of my physical colonial identity is fragments of my intimidating ornamental Corinthian columns encompassed within my front walls. The once cascading central staircase that seduced humans in through their smooth monolithic silhouettes are a compilation of uninhabitable pieces. The non-human temporal and natural elements that have been a participant in the destruction are evidence that decay is inherent in all living things. My identity, which was once lost due to the trauma of the Civil War, I have regained through my destruction. The non-human forces represent Beirut for what I see, embracing all the natural elements and leaving humans behind. Through my individual decay, it has mirrored the social and cultural decay of this city, a city lost in a traumatic moment of time, a war that still defines the city to this day. The implication of this nostalgic idealization of the past, my body a representation triggering the traceback of cultural memory, therefore reinstating the collective memory of my city.